I do think that Valorant doesn't have enough events within the year. Speaking from my own experience, that caused burnout for me. I only truly get burnt out when I feel like I am practicing 4 to 5 times more than I am actually even playing matches. Like, I do think a healthy thing for like esports, obviously, like having an off season, having a break, and what they're doing for next year is actually they're elongating the schedule, but the hopes of them making the season longer and making VCT like end later, but having the same amount of tournaments is people get to have breaks in between each tournament and stuff like that. But in my personal opinion, it's not going to happen like that. Teams that are going to sit there practicing, grinding are going to be much better than the teams that are going to be there, like taking advantage of what would be a so-called break that Riot wanted to achieve. I do think for like something, if I was still competing, one of the wishes that I would have had on the scene at the moment would just add another Masters at least. But I do think it is quite expensive on Riot's side to add another Masters, just because I do think they're more about creating storylines and narrative within the tournament. They invest a lot into like the actual production value of the events. That's especially why like Champs is so hyped up, and like they have all these like teaser videos and stuff of days before the matches. And then like day of the match, they'll have a teaser for each setup. And then they'll also do like this big giant like narrative thing for the day before the grand finals. So I do think they invest a lot into like the narrative of each event, and that's kind of what causes it to be more unrealistic for them to add more tournaments. But ideally, like if I was to play an international tournament like every few months, I'd be very happy. But I don't think that's the direction that Valorant will probably go in. And so I mean that's unfortunate for like my expectations of what I do like, but also I do come from Counter-Strike where people will like play for 3 years straight and just get burnt out because they would just sit there and like play how many international tournaments within 3 years? Like if you're in top of the world in CS, you might see your family for like 2 weeks of the year. So there's definitely extremes to each end. But should there be 3 stages for Americas instead of kickoff tournament to start the year? Honestly, I don't know like how they would format it, but okay, maybe I'm the only one that feels this way. I think there's a lot of America's matches, or not just America's matches, but regional matches that are just going to be kind of boring in a way. There's only like a few regional matches where either one, they're really, really important, or two, they're really hyped up because of the teams playing in them. But it doesn't happen that often, in my opinion. And so it kind of results in a lot of sleeper matches. I'm going to go back on my thing about playing matches and stuff and being burnt out for practice. Let's say, I mean, okay, obviously a lot of chat isn't a pro player, but what would you rather get burnt out on? Would you rather get burnt out on having too much time and taking too many breaks when you're supposed to be like competing, and like spending most of your time just practicing every single day? Let's say you have like 5 days a week, 5 to 6 days a week of where you're scrimming, and the next time that you're going to be playing a match is 3 months from now. Would you rather get burnt out like that, or get burnt out from the fact that you're traveling so much and playing international matches and getting burnt out from just playing so many matches? What one do you think from an outside perspective? Because obviously from my perspective, like within the scene, I would rather much get burnt out from playing matches. And I think that's more matches, more content, more tournaments. A second option for sure. And I do think Valorant in particular struggles from the first issue.